I'm here to tell you about Dream Scenario, which is a film starring Nicolas Cage as a character named Paul Matthews. Paul Matthews is boring. He is the most boring, run of the mill dude. He's a professor at a college. Um, Nick Cage actually, his head is bald as this character Paul Matthews. Couldn't even have an even more boring name. Um, he has his wife and his kids who kind of think he's just sort of he is literally the dumb dad that is made fun of in sitcoms. He's kind of boring, not a lot going on with him, and he just lives his life until he begins to show up in people's dreams. He doesn't really do much of anything at first. He's kind of just there. And people from all over the world randomly start to report that they've seen him in their head. They've seen this guy, and then they find who he is. Say, you've been turning up in my dreams. And then it ends up as a local news story that goes global. And Paul Matthews goes from this sort of nondescript, everyday person to one of the most famous people in the world overnight. And this movie is really about the effect of overnight fame, how it hurts his marriage, how it hurts his relationships, how it affects his relationships with his daughters, how it affects his job. All of his relationships with families and friends are impacted with him having instant fame. Suddenly, the dreams go from rather sort of harmless dreams to him trying to murder people in dreams to he quickly becomes hated. So his newfound love and fame turns opposite. In effect, people are trying to cancel him for things that he's doing he's not even responsible for that are happening in his dreams. It's incredibly clever film, and it's directed by this guy. His name is Christopher Borgli, who he basically he claims that the movie is based on his dad. Okay. And his dad is incredibly is Paul Matthews is based on his dad, who's kind of just like a boring run of the mill dude. Uh I'll say this. Very entertaining, really funny comedy. It's one of those like what you call an existential comedy, like Groundhog's Day, when something magical and fantastical happens and then there's a lesson that's learned. I really enjoyed it. It's also, for my money, the best Nicolas Cage movie this year. And that's really saying something because Nicolas Cage stars in a lot of movies. It's put out by A24, and A24 really has developed a reputation of putting out really remarkable work. I mean, they champion movies that are unclassifiable, weird comedies, bizarre horror, and really, when you see the A24 logo on it, not always a home run, but you're in for something
Yeah,
special.
Iron Claws in there.
Yeah. Iron Claw is one of those. We haven't reviewed it yet, but Dream Scenario fits perfectly that mold of a very original comedy with a likable actor in the lead, Nicolas Cage, and I strongly recommend it. So definitely give it a 7 or 8 out of 10. So
So
check
does
out.
it treat the idea and themes of fame well, or
It does. It does. I don't want to get into any spoilers, but there's a bit at the end that involves influencers, basically showing how insufferable influencers are. And there's a little thread in there. There's a guy who works at an ad agency played by Michael Cera, and they invite Paul Matthews to the ad agency, and they all talk about dreams they've had with him. And what's funny is in Paul Matthews, in many women's dreams, they end up having sex with him. And they either are enamored with him or angry about his conduct in their dreams. So it ends up affecting his real life. It's really clever. And I kind of want to see it again, actually. When I have a chance over the holidays, I'll definitely check it out again.